Welcome to the Champagne Way,
a podcast devoted to living every day like a celebration. Welcome to the Champagne Way, episode 17. In this episode, we will be talking about trips. Lindsey visits Evansville, Indiana.
My exciting life.
And we'll talk about my recent trip to Seattle and Alaska.
I hate you.
And surprise, we have our first guest caller to talk about Cult Cruise 2018.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
All right, we'll get to that later. You got to listen to the whole episode to find out what that's about.
OMG.
Dying.
Can't wait.
Trina, what's in our cup?
All right, so we are drinking the, it says DUC, so I'm assuming Duck? De Valmer. It's a Brut champagne. It says Blanc Le Blanc's Duc de Valmer Brut. This champagne came complimentary to us on the Norwegian cruise that we just took to Alaska and Canada. And I brought it back for you guys to try.
Well,
so,
I think I can speak for everyone when I say this champagne is garbage.
it is a little garbage. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest.
No.
This is what they give complimentary?
Yeah, when you said duck, maybe a duck pissed in the bottle.
It's literally like, hi, Norwegian. We shit in this bottle for you. Here you go. Mm-hmm. Norwegian, I'm going to need you to get it together.
Norwegian needs to get it together.
Where is this from?
Let's see. On the bottle, it says
Your bathroom.
France. Produced in France. So this is a French champagne.
Boo.
It's like France, Oregon.
Let's see. The back of the bottle says the most delicate grapes from the best wine regions give Duc de Valmer sparkling wine harmony and personality. It is an elegant wine that gives the best enjoyment when served chilled.
Personality. Somebody has a sour personality.
Oh, it was imported to USA, Miami, Florida.
Okay.
And it contains sulfate. So there's that.
Boo.
Boo.
All right.
Now, I mean, I think that's our first negative review in a while, but it's not that it's horrible, it's drinkable, but
I'm going to drink it.
we're gonna drink it. But I do sort of wish that Norwegian had given us what they advertised on this ship the entire time, which was a much better champagne. But this is the one that they gave out, which was, and this was a surprise to us because it was given to us as a welcome back to the boat champagne, because we've been on this boat 3 times.
Oh.
This is our first Alaskan cruise, but
right.
It was our 3rd time on the boat because this was the same boat that Marshall, our producer, has played on twice for music cruises.
So I feel like you're going steady with this boat.
We are kind of going steady with this boat, but I'm ready to slightly break up and move on to another boat because I love this boat. But I'm also ready to try new things.
You need to play the field.
I need to play the field a little bit.
This one I think is just kind of vinegary, or I'm just not feeling it.
Okay, so this is what they advertise constantly at the champagne bar. 'Cause there was a champagne bar on the boat.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time there.
Of
but
course you did.
Surprisingly, they didn't have a lot of champagne cocktails. It was mostly vodka.
What?
So it was like a martini bar disguised as a champagne bar. But they did constantly promote the Vueve Cliquot Brut. Can you describe that? What does that say?
Veve cliquot.
Vueve Clickcut.
Okay, I'm going to spell this for everybody. VEUVE CLICQUOT. It's from France as well.
I think it's Vive Clit.
Cliquot.
French speakers.
Vueve Cliquot. I think I'm trying to pronounce it enunciate every syllable in it. It's probably not right at all. But it probably is Veve
Clit.
Cliquot.
I'm pretty sure I'm right. I took 2 years of Spanish in high school. Thank you.
Anyways, I wish they had actually served that because they had like 4 gigantic different bottles at their champagne bar, and it just made me think that maybe that's what they gave us because it does look similar at first glance, and then you realize that no, they gave us Duke de Valmer, which is not the greatest.
No, but we're still gonna drink you, Duke.
We are gonna drink it.
We are. All right, so now it is time for champagne shout out.
What champagne shout outs do we have today?
Well, we have one, but I think it's the most important one. Today, right now, we have, for the very first time, our first live audience member. So thank you, Stacy, for being right here in the studio with us as we record live.
Yeah. And she's also got our Instagram page. So she is live IGing us.
Yay.
So if you are paying attention tonight as opposed to when we release this on Friday.
Yep.
You get a little sneak preview about what we're going to be talking about.
That's right. And if you have any future champagne shout outs, we always welcome them. If you have, somebody you want to celebrate, something you want to celebrate, somebody, anything, please submit that to our website, thechampagneway.com. You can also submit it on our Facebook, The Champagne Way, or on our Instagram at The Champagne Way. You can submit it right to the links in our bio.
And while we're thinking about this, if you happen to be traveling through Nashville and you're an avid listener and you want the possibility of sitting in live, email any of us. All of our email addresses are listed online, but you can also just go to our website and write to us and see if we happen to be recording while you're passing through Nashville because, we're all about the live audience nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll even give you some champagne to drink while you listen.
That's right. We can't guarantee you it'll be great champagne. Sorry, Stacy.
We will, yeah.
It might be crappy champagne from Norwegian cruise lines, but you will get champagne. So, first on the topics of the trips, Lindsey.
Oh, yes.
Tell us about your trip to Evansville, Indiana.
Yeah, so while Jess was off lollygagging in London and you're in Alaska, I went to Evansville, Indiana.
How was that?
A nice 2.5-hour trip from Nashville.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah. Actually, it was great. We stayed with some friends. So Rory, my daughter, who's 5 months old, is betrothed to Jude, who is 8 months old. So she was needing some, fiance time.
Uh-huh.
So we went.
Naturally. This is like early bonding.
It is.
It's very important.
It is. So they had a great time together. But I didn't know what to expect from Evansville, Indiana. She always talks about how horrible and boring it is. But we had a great time. We had some good food. We had really good drinks. And Evansville is interesting.
Really? First impressions, what is the thing about Evansville, Indiana? Now, does she dislike it because it's just not Nashville?
It's kind of small. It's like the beginnings of East Nashville if you're from Nashville. So it's kind of trendy.
Like a little hipster?
Yeah, trying to get there. And so we went to the Stromboli Festival.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds amazing.
But guess where it was?
Not in Evansville, Indiana?
No, in Evansville. At the ball field where A League of Their Own was filmed.
No.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So if you saw my Instagram post, my personal page, the Racing Bells, it was at that ballpark.
Did they have a lot of memorabilia from the movie or anything there?
It still looks exactly the same as far as, where people sit and stuff like that. So that was really cool. It looks like an old-timey ball field.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is actually really, really cool. It'd be great if they recreated some of those scenes with female players in the same outfits or something.
Yeah.
It'd be super cool.
The Stromboli, they did have a Stromboli eating contest.
Oh.
Did anyone in your group apply to be in this contest?
We got there right when it started, or I would have, because I think I could have put some Stromboli down.
Stromboli is pretty delish.
Yeah.
That is pretty awesome, though.
And you got to vote for your favorite Stromboli.
Now, how did they end up starting a Stromboli festival in Evansville, Indiana?
I didn't ask. I just ate.
You just ate?
I mean...
do they have a big Italian population, or is it just a thing?
It was all the different places in Evansville and surrounding counties that serve stromboli. So you had to vote for your favorite in-town stromboli and your favorite out-of-town.
Cool.
My favorite was like a barbecue stromboli with that baby Ray's sauce.
A barbecue stromboli.
That sounds delicious. Did it have like chicken in it or something?
It was pork.
Oh, pork. Oh, I've never had a pork stromboli or a barbecue stromboli for that matter.
It was so good. So another thing that we saw in Evansville is they have a kitty cat cafe, but it's also a wine bar.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's River City Cat Cafe, downtown Evansville. Went in. They also fly macaroons from New York.
Really?
They had like an Earl Grey, they had a lavender, they had a rose. I mean, so good.
They have macaroons, wine, cats, and coffee.
Yes.
I could live there.
Yeah. No, you sent me pictures of this cat wine cafe, and I like freaked out.
Yes. So I went in and I saw the kitties, and the one I liked like was running everywhere. Like it was so cute. I talked to the owner, gave her a sticker, told her, we'd been talking about this. And she was so excited. I mean, it was just so adorable.
Well, clearly, if anyone is in Evansville, Indiana, and listens to our show or travels through there, they should go check out this cat cafe.
Yes.
What's the name again?
River City Cat Cafe.
So
awesome.
Did you get like the whole business plan from the owner of how we like need to set up our champagne?
Well, I told her one of our
Champagne and
co-hosts pretty much already had one.
I mean,
Champagne and cats. That's
sure.
all I need to call it.
Yeah.
It's my champagne and cat cafe.
I didn't have an allergy attack, so it was very clean and well kept.
And cats are amazing. So there's that.
Yeah.
And the last thing that Evansville has that we did not get to do that we have to go back and try is that they have races. Gambling's very big there.
Really?
But what kind of races do they have?
Please tell me it's a cat race.
Please tell me it's a pig race.
No.
What is it?
They have an ostrich race
What?
and a wiener dog race.
What?
Oh my God, that's even better.
Stop.
Oh my God.
Stop it. No.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
saved the wiener dog for a second because the ostrich race is really crazy, but a wiener dog race, really?
Yeah. I mean, they have horses and all that, wolves or whatever you race.
Wolves.
But they have a wiener dog and ostrich race.
Do you mean greyhounds?
What? Same
Maybe.
difference.
That's not the same as a wolf. But greyhounds are typically the dog that would be at a
anyway.
racetrack.
So in case you maybe listened to the last episode and you all know that my fiance Will is a closet listener, he's gonna flip at the maybe wiener dog racing. So that means we're probably gonna go to Evansville, Indiana, real soon.
Well, I've got a ton of tips for you. I had the best chicken livers I've had since I've had them at the gas station in Waynesboro, Tennessee.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, why don't you, between the cat wine cafe and the wiener dog racing, that just might be our next weekend getaway.
Yeah, it's a great little weekend trip.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, I think we need to mark it on our calendars when the next time they have the Stromboli Festival because I would like to go back there then.
Yeah, that sounds
For
great
that.
too.
So, booyah, Trina. Take that Alaska trip.
Well, that segue. Let's talk about
Bam.
Alaska and Seattle. So I did create like a massively long list because we did so much in such little time. Little meaning we took like an 11-day vacation. If you call that little. That's that was actually a really long vacation, and today was my first day back at work, and I definitely felt all the vibes of like, oh my God, how many emails do I have today? And what all do I have to do? Plus a little jet lag.
Yeah.
Y'all don't feel sorry for me at all. I know. I can tell. So we started our trip, first of all, in Seattle. We flew in like on Thursday night. Our cruise didn't leave till Sunday afternoon. So we had all of Friday, all of Saturday, and then part of Sunday before we left and went on this cruise. So we were trying to fit in so many things because it was our first time to Seattle. Well, it's my first time to Seattle, actually. And our producer, Marshall, of course, was with me, as he is my husband. And he had been there before, but it was always like on short trips when he was playing gigs there. And so the most that he had really realistically seen or talked about was a lot of like the Pike's Place Market. Like they'd hit the easy staples of Seattle and then play the show and then quickly like leave.
Yeah.
So, like, we tried to do as much as we could in this short period of time of 2 days. First of all, they have a biking system there that rivals, like, that doesn't even rival Nashville's. Nashville has a biking system where you can like check out a bike at certain stands downtown, but it's nothing like what they have in Seattle. They had like 3 or 4 different companies. Some of them even had electric bikes, but we compared them all. We ended up picking one brand called OFO, is OFO, and you could literally check out a bike by scanning a barcode or QR code from the back of the bike on your phone, and we biked everywhere. Like,
wow,
this was the biking trip.
Please tell me it was a tandem bike.
It was not a tandem bike,
Oh,
although
man.
we did find those in Alaska. And I'll
Okay.
get to that shortly.
What?
But this was like majorly the biking, walking, hiking trip of our like lifetime.
Sounds very...
It was not what I would call a relaxing trip.
Did you
No.
hold hands while you biked at least?
No, we would have definitely fallen. We would have definitely fallen. We're not that coordinated.
People don't know that you're truly in love if you don't hold hands while biking.
I mean, but if you bike as a couple, I feel like they know.
No.
No?
No,
Okay.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Okay. Well, but so we biked around Seattle a lot. We ended up getting this thing called City Pass that
Oh,
they
yeah,
sold
I
there.
know that.
That if they have it in several cities, not enough cities, honestly, as they should, because they don't have it in Nashville and they should.
No, but they have it in like Boston and New York and those. Yeah.
What is it? I don't know.
It was like, okay, so for example, we decided one day we were going to go to the Mopop, which is the Modern Pop Museum. And the 2 of us to go for a day pass to this museum and to pay a little bit extra because they had a Marvel exhibit that we wanted to go see, which was
Oh.
awesome.
Do not tell Jay this.
We took a million pictures for Jay specifically for
Aw.
him. But like, if we wanted to go to all of that, it was about $80 for the 2 of us to go to this museum for the day. So they had these passes that were $80 per person, and it basically got you into the Modern Pop Museum 2 times to go up in the Seattle Space Needle, to the
The noodle?
The needle.
The space noodle?
I said needle.
No, you did not. You said space noodle.
The space noodle.
Oh my God.
Who's jet lagged?
I've had 4 glasses of champagne, guys. Okay, so it let us go into the Space Needle, the aquarium, and ferry boat ride that you could go out on the
Oh, yeah,
lake
yeah.
and
Did you
kind of see everything.
visit Seattle Grace Hospital?
We did not, because it was like very far away. Also, we did find out like where they recorded like her house, like in Grey's Anatomy. It was up on like the area they call it Queens Anne, and it's an actual private residence, so they don't do tours there because people actually live there. Anyways, so we went like on long bike rides. We went on this gigantic Ferris wheel that we could see the whole city. And that was like all leading up to us leaving out of town. The Modern Pop Museum was really cool. They had like a Nirvana exhibit
Ooh.
and an exhibit for Jimi Hendrix. So yeah, it was just awesome. The Chihuly exhibit was like probably one of the coolest things that we've ever seen. If you follow me on Instagram, on my personal Instagram, which is at Trina, I pretty much posted every picture of that place. So you don't even need to go. Just see all my pictures because I posted a million of them, but it was like the coolest thing ever. The only thing that we were slightly disappointed in was that they had these like little videos about the Chihuly exhibit. And have y'all ever seen any of the Chihuly glass stuff?
No.
I
They,
have.
they did it at Cheekwood a
Yeah,
long time
they
ago.
did, yeah.
I think they have one at the Opry.
They have little bits and pieces.
So they had this like little video documentary at the end that we went to after we had seen all these beautiful pieces, and we were like, this is so amazing. And they talked about like the guy who makes all of this stuff, that's the namesake of the style, and he teaches like glass blowing classes and all this other stuff. But basically at the very end, it was like that's when you realize that although he's made these pieces before, he's basically like the guy who like directs a team of people who make all the pieces for him and attaches them to the structure. And so Marshall and I were both kind of like, wait a minute, it's still beautiful, and he still has to have the vision to be like, no, this piece goes here, and this curvy piece goes here, and this. But it kind of lost a little bit of like the for us, because it was like, oh wait, he doesn't make all of those. Like he has a team of people that make the glass pieces, and then there's a team of them that all get together to create the
It's
structure.
like a clothing designer.
Or
Kind of, yeah. It actually, because I've thought about that about clothing design too, like how it kind of ruins it a little bit when you realize that they create the basic design element, and then they let other designers on their team kind of create the additional pieces
yeah.
to the collection. Yeah, so it was kind of like that. It's like other people create the pieces of the collection and he just tells them where to place them.
Or he's like the James Patterson of glass design. Like James Patterson just comes up with the basic plot and somebody else writes all the chapters.
Pretty much, yeah. It was a little like that. So it was cool, but it was a little bit of a letdown when we found out that. And I'm probably letting down some other people who probably have loved his glass pieces for forever. But like if you own like a small little piece, it was probably made by some rando person in his shop.
Yeah, that's super disappointing.
And you probably paid $300 for it. So that was a little disappointing in that regard. But otherwise, I mean, it was still beautiful. Like what he does create, if that's his vision, it is unique in the style in which he created how they do the blown glass. And it was great that he teaches all these people how to make glass in that form and how to think creatively with it. It was slightly different thinking that he did all of it and then he didn't.
Yeah.
So but it was still super cool. And I have a million pictures of it because it was beautiful.
Yeah. So you guys had some awesome times in Seattle.
Seattle was pretty amazing. So then Alaska. So we jumped on this cruise and the first day was at sea. Second day, we went to Juneau, Alaska. This was the second bike ride nation of the entire trip.
I really like to bike ride up there in the north.
Apparently, which surprisingly, all of the towns in Alaska, they were so awesome. It's hard to describe. If you've ever been on an Alaskan cruise, you understand. But if you haven't been on an Alaskan cruise, it is worthwhile to go or just visit Alaska in general. It is these towns that are kind of built in these valleys surrounded by these vast, amazing, beautiful mountains that you're just like, how did they even discover this spot, let alone build a whole city or town in it? But we rode the bikes through there because for the most part, it was pretty flat in the valley where they were at.
The tandem bike?
It was not a tandem bike. Not yet. But so if you've ever been on a cruise, there's sometimes different ways that they get off of the ship. It's like if the boat can't quite port, they'll do these things called Tinder boats.
Wait, Tinder like the app?
Swipe right or left?
I wish it was that easy, but it's not. But it is it's a Tinder boat, not like the app.
What kind of cruise was this, Gus?
Very curious curious Alaskan cruise.
Curious cruise.
No, but you could take the Tinder boat off, but they had only a certain number of tickets for that, and we did not sign up in time for it. And so we had to get off once they ported the actual ship, and we had to get off at the dock. It was like a hot mess to get off this boat. We were in this long winding line down a staircase to get off, and we were surrounded by these people, some of which were pushy, some of which were very cheerfully. And we will describe these people a little bit later in the podcast, but it has to go with the whole cult cruise of 2018. But I did mention it in the beginning, but yes.
Well, yeah, okay,
we're going to lead up to this, the cult cruise 2018.
Yes, because we were like, oh, Trina, you're back. How was your cruise? And she's like, I just want to describe it as cult cruise 2018.
Right,
I'm going to leave it as that.
You did mention this, but our curiosity is building and growing.
I'm letting it build and grow.
You're building and growing. Okay, so we're...
Okay, you think Alaska, what do you think?
Penguins.
Grizzly bears.
Ice.
I'm thinking weather, guys. What do you think of climate-wise?
It's cold.
Snow.
It's cold in here.
There must be some Toros in the atmosphere.
Wow. Y'all went straight bring it on. Well, there were no Toros, there were no cheerleaders, and it was definitely not cold. It was so hot, guys.
Really?
So hot. I packed for Alaska and Seattle thinking it was going to be rainy, it was going to be cold. Even though, yes, I went at the end of July, early August, it still described it as these are the two wettest climates in the U.S., the wettest cities, wettest states, whatever. They get a lot of precipitation. We had one day of rain on the entire trip.
Really?
One day.
Oh.
It got breezy on the boat in the evenings when we would be booking it to the next port. But it was sunny. It was hot. I did not wear a sweater except for twice.
Wow.
Yeah. Until we got to Glacier Bay. Glacier Bay was the only different place. That was a whole different world. So that jumps us ahead a little bit. Like we went to Juneau, which was a lot of hiking, Skagway, which was an amazing old town, and it kind of looked like a modern day Western town, if that makes sense. Super cool. They even played into the whole old Western Alaskan gold mining kind of thing, and they had this brothel there.
What?
There was like an old school brothel. It wasn't like a real
with
one.
Your Tinder cruise.
It goes with the Tinder cruise a little bit. But they had like these people that were dressed up in like the old school, like, well, basically the prostitutes.
Yeah.
The whores of the brothel. And they had one that was like at times they would be outside of their windows, like literally on the second floor, like catcalling to the people downstairs. And they had this whole show that they did. It was funny when they were like really staying in character and getting out the windows and doing that. But at one point in time, one of them was like walking down the street and making jokes to people and kind of giving a little bit of a tour of the city. And some people started clapping at her because she was standing in the middle of the road and kind of being dramatic and whatnot. And she just goes, thank you for giving me the clap. And it was like, we busted out laughing. Like, this is a joke that no kid would get.
Nope.
But we instantly would be like, oh my God, did she just say that really loudly?
She is like on her STD
She's
puns.
a professional.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She was all about it.
Love it.
But yeah, we also saw, okay, that's the other thing. There were totem poles everywhere.
Oh, right.
Yes. Some of them were really awkward. Like one in Juneau definitely looked like that someone like was holding another person upside down and like a head was coming out of someone's butt. And then there was another one that looked like it had two boobs, but there were faces on them, so it kind of looked like faces for nipples. Yeah. It was weird. There were some very unique totem poles all over the place.
Oh, we're being shown a picture of this right now.
Oh.
It's just normal for the Tinder cruise.
Normal for the Tinder cruise. That's right. So those were like crazy. But that was, Skagway was where we saw the tandem bikes. Oh. And we almost rented them, except for the fact that they wanted like $85 an hour.
Oh, what?
So that brings up another thing. If you ever take an Alaskan cruise, like be ready for them to like ask for all your money for everything.
It's the cost of romance.
It was the cost of everything. Everything was so expensive. Like if you wanted to go see whales, it was going to cost you $125 to like $500 or $600 per person.
Oh, but
person.
Seeing whales would have been amazing.
We did end up seeing some whales actually. So in Juneau's the only place that you can take a whale excursion where they guarantee you will see whales or your money back.
Oh,
yes. Well, and our guest caller later, he'll talk about a little bit. He ended up seeing one of the coolest things you can see on a whale excursion, which is like some bubbly thing. We didn't go on any of those because again, they were very expensive. But we ended up seeing whales from the cruise ship later because you could see them. You couldn't necessarily see the whales, but you would know where they were at because every once in a while you would just see like a poof of water come up from where they were coming up to the surface enough to blow out their blowhole, which sounds really weird because y'all been calling this the Tinder cruise. They would come up to the surface and you'd see a poof of water and you'd know that there was a whale right there. So it was really weird because you wouldn't always see them, but you'd know they were there.
So did anyone in your group speak whale?
Nobody. How do you speak whale? I don't think any of that's accurate.
If you have never seen Finding Nemo, Dory can speak well. And I know well from Dory.
Lindsay, I don't know if you got your pronunciation completely correct there.
I don't think so either.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying.
Can you say one more thing in whale?
Hello, it's the Sunburn Way podcast.
I mean, I guess that's pretty okay.
I guess that's pretty well. That's
okay.
pretty well.
Have you ever talked?
All right. I'm gonna bow.
We're gonna guess that's pretty well.
That's pretty well. Okay. All right. Well, I'll summarize this. We ended up finally getting rain in like one other spot. There was Ketchikan, which was like a total fisherman's town. They had a ton of old brothels.
That's actually a perfect stop for the Tinder cruise.
Yep.
That was. It was a perfect spot for the Tinder cruise, the Tinder Alaskan cruise.
Yeah, it is.
They were really cool. And actually, it was funny because they kept trying to put these signs on the buildings they literally had signs on the buildings in this old red light district that like kept praising the women who really stood up for women's rights, because this was actually back in that time. It was like the one thing a woman could kind of control was her body a little bit, surprisingly, a little bit. And so when they finally outlawed a lot of these brothels, there were several women that they now praise on these signs that still continued behind the scenes trying to continue their red light work.
Right.
And so they kind of like praised them and like put them on these signs like these were the first feminists of this feminist of this time frame where they still were like, well, I'm in control of this. I'm going to do this.
Right.
And they kept up their business, even though it had been outlawed at that point in time.
Entrepreneurs.
The first entrepreneurs of Ketchikan were definitely the women whorehouses. So, but yeah, anyways, summarize, Alaskan cruise, amazing.
Okay, but you haven't told us, well, it's called the cult cruise.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Is there chanting? We got to know.
Okay.
Did you go to a seance?
We have to be filled in.
Okay, well, so we're going to make our call to our surprise guest.
Hello?
Hey!
How's it going?
It would be Trina and my other podcast host.
Hi, Patrick.
Lindsey and Jess? How's it
Lindsey and
going?
Jess.
Lindsey, you doing okay? How the fork are you? Good?
Oh yeah, we may have mentioned to him that you have a cursing problem on the show.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
Now,
Yeah,
I was
that's good,
pregnant
that's
the
good.
first half of the show, so that probably counted for a lot of my cursing.
Yes.
I understand that.
It's a forking hard
I get
time.
Yeah.
that. Mhm. But life's good?
Yeah, it's good. Also, you had this trip planned, and I didn't get an invitation, Patrick.
The Patrick party.
They told me that you were upset about that. I apologize. I was trying to think of something to say in response to that. I don't really know, Lindsey. I'm sorry. I'll just tell you that the next time that I don't get married on a cruise, you'll be invited. So, okay.
Just, any vacation you have, even if it's with you and a significant other, if you could just invite me.
What if it's without a significant other like this one was? Can they still invite you?
Yeah. With or without, whatevs. Whatevs.
Okay. Next time, Lindsey. Next time. Next cult cruise. You're
Okay,
definitely
so
you're definitely front
You
and
and
center.
Trina keep calling this the cult cruise.
So
Yes.
Patrick, I have not told them anything
No, we
about
don't
the
know
other
anything.
group on the cruise.
What have you guys been doing for the past 2 hours?
Drinking and them.
I thought you were like talking about this stuff. I was feeling like a little misfit at home. I was sitting
Okay.
by the phone, waiting for your call for the past 2 hours. I didn't get it. So.
I was telling them about all the other fun things on the cruise.
And I got to talk
Oh.
about my exciting trip to Evansville, Indiana.
Oh, that's Evansville is nice.
Yeah.
It's no cult cruise or Tinder cruise, but
Yeah. You don't know why it's called the cult cruise.
no,
Okay.
I gave him a teaser and that's it. And I said, this is the cult cruise. That's all you get.
Okay. So first of all, we get onto this cruise, and there's a bunch of I don't want to make it sound I'm going to not make it sound racist, but there's a bunch of Indians on the cruise, and we thought it was a just like a get together. You know what I mean? Like they were part of an organization, which they were part of an organization, but we didn't exactly know what it was. We thought it was like like a
Very large
festival,
family reunion.
Comic-Con, or maybe you know what I mean,
Comic-Con?
something to that extent, like a Comic-Con for Indians or something like that, or something to that extent.
Now,
And
we talked to a few of them, and they very specifically would say, "Oh, we're a part of like a meditation and yoga group."
right,
But that's
the
all
way
they'd
that they
say.
pitched it to you. That's the way that they tried to sell it to you. It was a meditation and yoga
God.
group.
Oh my God, were they Scientologists? I'm going to be so excited if they were Scientologists.
It's a little bit better than that.
Okay.
So anyway, as it kind of went on, I was like, oh, all right, you know what I mean? There's a lot here, and I don't really kind of get what's going on, but they're obviously all here for the same thing. So some things happened on the cruise that we didn't really notice at the time, but afterwards, all of us were hanging out in Seattle, and we kind of recapped it. Like, for example, I heard them all praying to Shiva in one of the big auditoriums. Marshall got ran over by some of them trying to get to the leader of this organization,
the guru,
to, like, pushed out of the way. The guru is, I believe, how it was pitched. You know, there was just some things that happened on the cruise that we didn't really think about, you know, with it. After that, and so after the fact, you know, we're kind of recapping all this stuff, and one of us said, "This is kind of like a cult." You know, and we just kind of blew it off the first time, like it wasn't a big deal. And the more that we kind of started to talk about all the stuff that we saw, we were like, let me just look this up. And we were like, what was the name of this organization? And it was Art of Living. So I typed that in on my iPhone, Art of Living, and the very next word that shows up is cult in the search engine. So Google just filled that one in on its own, you know. Thanks, Google. And we started to look into it. And yeah, we were on a cruise with a cult of about 1,500 members who follow this what's the guy's name? Sri Ravi Shankar?
Yep, Sri
right?
Ravi Shankar.
Sri. So
Yeah.
it rhymes with tree.
Yes, but Sri.
Okay.
I'm an
follow the
avid
guy
follower
around.
now. I've joined.
Or
Are
are
you?
you leader?
Yeah, did you order their like free happiness starter kit? Or
Yeah,
whatever
I
it is
did.
From their website.
I did.
Yeah. Oh, good. We got to prep for the the next time that we're on a boat with a cult. That would be
good.
So we need to know what to do. So the more that we look into it, the more that it's a cult, and it's kind of like Scientology. But they and they have like levels on it too, where you can actually get to meet the guy, but it's all also like how much you pay to get to meet the guy too.
Oh, you got to level up.
That's how
Level
you know
up.
you're in like deep with the gods. Your money contribution.
Well, so like,
Yeah, that's exactly right.
that was some of the things. It's like we started to notice like this trend of like some of them were really, really nice. Like, don't get me wrong, some of them were super nice in the group, and they'd sit and talk to you about like what they were doing and like about the trip. I think they were there mostly for the Alaskan trip, but then there were some that were kind of like really pushy and really a little rude in a way. Like they would not move when you like walk towards them in the hallway, or the ones that like he mentioned pushed Marshall and I out of the way almost to like get up this ramp to get on the boat. And it was like, okay, it's kind of like celebrity status, but at the same time, like the cruise line wasn't like helping them get on the boat. It was like his followers were like, get out of the way, here comes our leader.
Exactly.
And it was weird. And then when we started piecing it together after the fact, when we were back in Seattle and we were talking about it, I think that's when we realized, oh, that makes sense. There's like levels within this cult, essentially. And the more you pay to do the quote trainings to level up, we were like, okay, that explains the ones who definitely acted entitled. There was an instance about the soft serve ice cream, Patrick.
Yes, they like soft serve a lot. There was a soft serve station like everywhere you turned on this cruise, and they obviously have an obsession. Maybe it's part of their like inner workings of their religion. It's like in this fifth circle, you get introduced to soft serve, and you get all the soft serve that you want, or something like that. I don't really know.
You got to level up for that.
What's the name of this
Yeah,
cult
but I
again?
do
It sounds
understand why
amazing.
why some of them were so aggressive though, Trina, because like they paid money to actually like meet the guy. You know what I mean? Like that's like the upper level. I found out. You don't actually get to meet Mr. Sri or Mr. Shankar or whoever he is, unless you pay enough money to get into the upper levels of this organization, quote unquote. So I get why they were so pushy, because they didn't want to. They spent a lot of money to meet the Grand Poobah there.
Yeah. Well, and so today I randomly like looked him up and I found his Twitter account. Like, actually,
thank you for sending that, by the way. That consumed. I didn't have a whole lot of work to do today, so I pretty much spent my time researching the art of living, and that took up a good chunk of my afternoon, Trina. So thanks for that.
That was fantastic. So it's like I wondered what they were doing on this cruise. So I'm like, okay, they paid all this money to go on this cruise to be close to him, and apparently they kept mentioning it was a big deal that the actual guru was on the trip, because they plan these like yoga meditation retreats all the time, but like he's not always there, and he was legit on the boat. Marshall and I literally brushed up against him as he passed by us, but like,
people paid a lot of money for that same opportunity.
yeah, and we just got it for free. Okay, guys, we're like,
Yeah, that's right.
we're naturally on like level 5 of the cult.
I mean, God.
Because of this.
She wanted to go on the Tinder cruise.
Yeah. there was even some girls like in like their full Indian garb, like running up like with this. It'd be like the equivalent of like a 8x10 like picture of like your favorite star, like hoping they'll sign it, except for it had some like probably poems or or quotes or something on it, and they're like running up at him at the port like to get him to sign this.
So 6th grade Jess with a Leonardo DiCaprio picture.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, except for
Yeah,
cult-like.
You should see the picture of Shri Shri there if you think it's going to be like that. You're going to be slightly disappointed. I'm just going to say.
Well, reason 450 I should have been invited on this cruise is that I don't know if you know me, but I've never met a stranger. I would have infiltrated into this cult.
She would have made it to level 10 immediately.
Immediately.
You
would have had a lot of angry cult members at you
I know,
than if you made it
but
immediately to level 10.
I would
If
have
you immediately ascended the throne all the way up to that level. Lindsey, that would
Oh
have
my
been-
God, guys. I just pulled up a picture of Shri Shri and
Let me see. Would you do him, Jess? Is he that attractive?
No, he's not.
no. I'm going to think about it for just a hot sec. No.
No?
No.
These cult
He's got
members.
hey, ladies, he's got a really good personality, though. I'll tell you
I
what.
bet he does. These cult members that push out all the way sound like a bunch of bitches that need to drink some champagne.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of what we thought was going on. So there's this area in the boat called the Haven, which is like the highest level of rooms that you can get. You know what I mean? It's like $20,000, and if you get it, it's like 5 rooms. You get a butler and stuff like that. So we were like, that guy is definitely up there with a bunch of ladies doing a bunch of blow.
Oh,
They have their own pool and their own hot tub, like on its own private level.
No doubt. He was up there.
He's in the
no doubt about
Haven.
it.
It was the Tinder cruise.
It was
Oh, he was on the Tinder cruise.
Indian Tinder cruise.
Wait.
Cult Tinder cruise.
Wait, so like, do you think he like got off the boat and like went and did like all these excursions and like went and whale watched and shit?
Okay. So
He went to the whorehouse.
this is what I was trying to figure out, like, with this is like, so I know at one point in time they had mentioned, like, on the ship there was like this big they called it the Stardust Lounge. It was like the 2-story, like, with balconies, like theater essentially, where like they have shows and stuff. Think of like off Broadway shows. And they closed it a couple times so that this whole group could go in there and do like these like seminars with him of some sort.
Oh God.
Well, when I found him on Twitter
love to be
today,
there.
it was like at each of the stops, he had pictures on his Twitter that were like the Seattle's biggest meditation seminar, and then it was Juneau's biggest group meditation seminar, and then it was British Columbia, Victoria, biggest meditation seminar. So basically, a lot of people paid a lot of money to sit in a large group in silence. It's a meditation group. I saw the Twitter and the pictures on Twitter. I was just like, oh my God, I had no idea that he got off the boat at all of these stops and held individual events with the people on this ship, but then also people in these different spaces.
Ooh, now-
So this is like
Yeah, I
a
think they had to
worldwide
sneak
thing.
'em off. So, yeah.
I can't believe Shri Shri didn't meet Tree Tree.
Tree.
No, Sri Sri did not meet Tree Tree.
Shri didn't meet Trina. So
Okay, I'm
I
looking
was
up
about to
the
ask you how to
Facebook
spell Shri, and I figured it out.
Sri Sri and Tree Tree, not the same.
I'm looking at his British Columbia meditation pictures. All these people are meditating in very uncomfortable looking chairs.
Let me see.
No, I'm sure they were not that comfortable. It was like all like theaters and stadiums and whatnot. Okay, first of all, how many people do you think follow him on Facebook? Like, give me a number.
4.5 million is what I just saw.
Okay, but you just saw that. I was asking them.
Oh. Well, I was so excited. I'm sorry. I ruined that one.
Way to ruin this.
Damn it, Patrick. Okay.
You guys went on an extra interesting cruise.
We really did. So I'm really disappointed that we didn't realize this until afterwards. We were all disappointed in this because we got off the boat in Seattle. We were talking about this because we all basically had the day in Seattle. But while we were there, we were talking about cult cruise. And that's when we discovered it was a cult cruise. And then started talking about how it would have been great if we had realized this sooner so that we could make t-shirts that said Cult Cruise 2018
Oh
to
my
wear
God.
on the cult cruise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, we're very
We would've had a lot
disappointed
of
in
fun.
ourselves.
Okay, first of all, that's reason 450 I should have been invited because I'm a crafter and I could have made t-shirts on the fly. Second of all, did you confront any of them that they were in a cult?
We didn't know.
They didn't know.
We didn't know. Oh my God! Look at these pictures from Alaska.
I'm glad you guys
Scroll
are
through
answering because I don't want to answer any other questions until I feel comfortable after I just blew the Facebook thing. So
Okay, first of all, you've heard me talk about how we did
my
not see a
God.
lot of ice. So they went to a specific place to take these pictures. We're looking at the pictures that were from Alaska on his Facebook that are clearly like posed professional
Yeah, he's in
pictures
snow.
somewhere in snow. Like,
He probably travels around with a professional photographer.
oh, I'm sure.
And
I'm sure.
reason 451 I should have been invited. I have a photography degree.
Oh,
Do you wanna
you
take-
could have posed him?
You want to take pictures with Shri Shankar?
No, just tree and the Tinder cruise.
Yeah, these pictures on his Facebook are very interesting. Now, okay, I will say I looked at this dude. He apparently it has a lot of random awards in India for like humanitarian efforts and whatnot. But I'm just saying it's still cultish. It doesn't really matter necessarily. Okay, slightly matters that yes, he does do good things in the world and that he's gotten
Sure.
these awards for that kind of stuff. But let's face it, it's still a little cultish.
Look and listen. I call BS on anybody where you have to level up to do anything. Unless you're playing a
Right.
video game, you don't need to level up.
Yeah, you gotta pay money to get to that level.
If you have to pay money to take more courses to level up, you're definitely into some Scientology BS, even if it's Indian Scientology BS.
yes.
However,
exactly.
side note, if you would like to level up to the champagne, we're going to be offering a next level where you pay money to listen to us.
Yes.
Okay.
If you want to
joking.
meet the ultimate like champagne way guru status, you need to level up.
It's a different kind of level.
By that, I mean you have to send us 100 bottles of champagne. We're
But it's totally not a cult,
It's
right?
not,
Totally not a
not
cult.
a cult. It's not a cult.
Yeah.
It's not a cult.
It's just
we,
a big orgy.
We just. I can't even like answer anything else anymore. I'm done.
It's a champagne orgy.
It's the champagne way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wants to join?
Hey, I'm in. I'm there. Champagne and cult.
We
I'm
get
sold.
our first member. Way to go, Patrick.
Champagne cult. Yes.
I'm a sucker for the groupthink. What can I say? Let's do it. Especially on booze.
Okay, well, going away from the cult stuff, did you go on a whale watch, though?
I did go on a whale watch. Actually, that was the coolest thing that I did in Alaska. The very first day that we got off the boat, we were in Juneau.
Uh-huh.
And I did an excursion with my family that was on the cruise too.
Uh-huh.
And we did a whale watch thing, and it was really cool because they were doing this thing called bubble net feeding.
Oh, what is that?
Where, and apparently they don't do that very often. So one of the whales, like the lead whale, the head honcho whale, blows bubbles in a circle around a school of fish, and then they all kind of rise up at the same time to do it. So there were like 15 of them doing that. And that's a huge number, they said, too. First of all, because they like hardly ever do it. Second of all, because usually if they're doing it together, it's only like 4 or 5,
Whoa.
not 15 of them. So that was the coolest thing that I did on the cruise.
Were those like some humpback whales or some
Killer whales.
killer whales?
They were
Orcas?
humpback whales.
Humpbacks.
Humpbacks.
Okay, Patrick. So before
Yeah.
you got on here, I spoke well on the podcast. Can
Oh,
you
yeah.
speak well?
Say that again?
Can you speak well?
Like, do you know how to speak like a whale? like
a whale.
Yeah.
I thought you were asking me if I speak well because of your accent. And I'm like, well, I think I've been doing okay. I mean, it's kind of my first time calling into a radio show.
Yes, do
So I'm a little nervous and stuff, but it doesn't
No.
good, so.
Can you speak to a whale? Do your best whale
I don't know
voice?
I don't know what sounds whales make. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
I
You
did not
obviously
hear-
have never seen Finding Nemo.
Lindsay will demonstrate
not,
for you
actually.
right now.
Okay.
Lindsay, demonstrate. Hello, Patrick. It's even better if you see her face. As she does it.
I know what just happened.
If you could see
I
her
can see
face.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Oh my god.
If only, I guess reason number 250, if only Lindsay had been with you, she could have spoken to the head honcho whale and
Yeah.
he blew bubbles.
But sometimes the reasons get less in number. Like I think you were just on 251. That was reason 250.
Whatever.
You know what? I would have sat on that whale's blowhole and
And you had yourself a good time, huh, Lindsay?
They don't call it Tinder cruise for nothing.
That's right. Damn straight, Lindsay. You know it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
All right. Colt Cruise
All right, I hope you guys
2019. We're going back to Alaska for Lindsay.
That's right.
Yes,
Okay.
for sure.
In 2020, Lindsay's next baby will be born.
Oh,
Half whale.
Juno. Juno is the name.
oh God.
Half whale, half whorehouse.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my God. I can't remember if there's anything else we have to ask you.
That's okay. I think you guys.
think-
Can I try to speak whale?
Yes.
Goodbye sign off.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You just tell me if this is good or not, okay?
Okay.
Goodbye, ladies. Is that good? That sounded like Scooby-Doo, didn't it?
It did sound
Didn't it sound
like
like
Scooby-Doo
Scooby-Doo?
a little bit. You got to slow it down a little bit.
Scooby-Doo or whale talk? I don't know. You
mean-
be the
I heard the bubbles.
How many drinks have you had before this?
Not enough.
Not enough.
I liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It was great.
Well, thank
All
you,
right, that's
Patrick. That was awesome.
Okay.
We'll all join you on Colt Cruise 2019.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
happening.
Let's plan it now.
Okay.
Let's make this thing happen.
Yes. Do it.
Bye, Patrick.
Bye, Patrick.
Okay. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good night.
All right. It's time for Jess's drinking thinking cap. All right. It was the time of this recording. It was just root beer float day.
Ooh.
And y'all know what that made me think?
What?
Why is it not champagne float day?
Oh,
Is there such a thing?
No, but I just made it up.
Okay, well, I want to hear about this because I've never heard of a champagne float.
Okay, so I was like, root beer float day, I'm going to make champagne float. So here's what I came up with. You guys, I'm going to roll out this recipe right now.
Yes.
Here's what it is. So here is a strawberries and cream champagne float.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Right. And if you don't like strawberries, you can leave out the strawberry part, but I think it'd be better with strawberries. So here we go. Strawberries and cream champagne float. Here's a recipe right now. Here it is. You take 1 scoop of good vanilla ice cream. I like the Breyers, like vanilla bean ice cream. You can get some Bluebell too. You take a half a cup of strawberry soda. You can get some Fanta, or you know, there's lots of strawberry soda these days. You take half a cup of dry champagne so that it's not overly sweet. And then you take a couple of strawberries and slice them. So then you'll put strawberries in the glass. You pile on that scoop of ice cream. And you pour on the strawberry soda on top of your strawberry and your vanilla ice cream. You pour on the champagne. You let it fizz. You don't let it fizz over. And then you put a strawberry on the glass for garnish. Voila. You got your champagne float.
That sounds delicious. Like super, super
And there
delicious.
you go. So goodbye, root beer float, champagne float.
Where
Coming
was
to town?
Where was that on my cruise?
I know.
That would have been amazing. We should have a champagne cruise. What?
What? So that's Jess's drinking thinking cap right now. I'm probably going to make a little graphic and put that on our social media in case you want to catch that and write it down.
Yes, that sounds awesome. I want to try that like right now.
Yeah.
I realize that it's like Tuesday night and it's really late, but I really want to try that right now.
So,
yes, and stay tuned for the Champagne Waves Champagne Cruise, where you can pay $1 million and you get to touch us.
And
Yeah.
there may or may not be a cult following. Champagne cult following.
You never know.
So I think that's what we need to start calling our listeners is the champagne cult, like listeners or something. I don't know. If you have an
Champagne
idea
cult.
for like the name for our new champagne cult, and for what we're going to refer to you as, please email me at trina@thechampagneway.com.
Yeah,
because I'm very interested in your opinions on
We're
this.
still working on that. We've been working on that the whole
Yeah.
time.
So now we can make it Champagne Cult Cruise 2019.
So what are we drinking about, friends?
Well, guys, I'm drinking about the fact that I've been on an 11-day trip and I went back to work today very much jet lagged. I realized I didn't go to like a different country necessarily. I mean, I did go to Canada actually, but I did go to Alaska and that's all. But that was like it was like a 4-hour difference overall. And I lost a lot of hours yesterday. I got back in town at like 9:30 at night, and I left Seattle at like 2:30 in the afternoon. So today was a struggle. I went to bed at 4:30 in the morning and like got up at 8 in the morning. Like I'm working off like 3.5, 4 hours of sleep, and struggle bus hit me like dead on today. So that sucked. But also I have 2 million pictures to post. So that's like the anxiety of that is starting to creep up on me.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't even feel bad for you.
You shouldn't, because it was
Whatever.
an amazing trip. And I joined this really, really good cult. What else are y'all drinking about this week?
So I went to kindergarten today.
What?
What?
Yes.
That sounds like fun.
So my sister-in-law is a kindergarten teacher. So I went at the crack of dawn this morning to welcome all the kindergartners and their parents and take little pictures.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was it sweet?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, man, think about, she had 24 5-year-olds in her class.
Nope.
No. Not like a vacation.
She definitely has something to drink about. Let's just leave it there.
Should we toast all the teachers who went back to school?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely
Yeah.
should. But one of her little kids in her room is working on a wicked unibrow.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
super
Is
cute.
it boy or girl?
He's a boy.
Either way, I hope they figure that out before high school.
Me too.
I told her if she would have had a self-care day and I could come in and do a wax for all the kids.
If you're rocking a unibrow in like kindergarten,
It's gonna be bad.
You gotta figure that out before you get to middle school, because people are gonna torture you.
Lord bless.
And she would not let me hand out the champagne way stickers to the kids, even though kids love stickers.
Of course they do.
I mean, they do. Their parents could probably really use it.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know about the students.
yeah, so it was good. I think the parents had a harder time than the kids.
Oh, I definitely could see that. My sister was definitely sad about her youngest going to kindergarten today at that same school, but a different class.
Yeah.
And she called me afterwards, and she was just like, I thought that he'd be sad, but he basically turned and was like, bye, Mom, and walked away. And she was like, cool, so I'm the only one who's going to cry today. So there's that. I definitely think it's harder on the parents sometimes, especially the older the kids get. They're just like, cool, peace out, bye, Ma.
Yeah. And they actually they got brunch today, and they were like, what's brunch? I'd explain what brunch was and how I did not get brunch till I was graduated college, and how it wasn't really brunch because the lunchroom did not serve champagne with their OJ.
I'm sorry. Was this brunch at like 11 a.m.?
It was like at 9:30, 10.
That's still breakfast. That doesn't count as brunch.
I mean, like French toast, like eggs. Like
They
what
had
kind
a
of brunch?
biscuit with some eggs, and they got to pick between white milk, chocolate milk, strawberry milk, and an OJ.
I mean, it's cool that they got choices and all, but I don't feel like that's brunch. That's
It's not
breakfast.
because there was no champagne offered.
I do remember a long time ago you taught me that brunch is not brunch without champagne. Otherwise, it's just breakfast.
I tried to explain that to the kids, and I don't think they understood, and I don't think I am invited back.
Yeah, I don't think kindergartens really need to know that constitutes brunch. To them, it's probably like anything that's not cereal.
Although half of them, when I said, what is brunch? They all knew.
That's like a heavy mid-morning snack.
Yeah.
They probably knew what brunch was because of their moms.
I mean, to them, like brunch is probably like on the weekends with pancakes and bacon and eggs, and like on weekdays, it's like their breakfast consists of cereal. So that probably is brunch to them. I remember as a kid, like brunch was like when I get a breakfast buffet.
Yeah.
That's brunch.
Yeah.
You know, I get to sleep in and I get a kick-ass breakfast. That's brunch. Then you get to drinking age, and then you realize that per Lindsey, when she teaches you this, that it's not brunch unless there's alcohol involved.
It's a
Otherwise,
true
it's
story.
breakfast.
It's very true.
But I've decided I want to go to kindergarten.
Okay.
Like, it's so cute. There are little lights everywhere. There's colors everywhere, and little desks, and little Play-Dohs, and little books. Like, I want to be in kindergarten.
Well, you better make sure they serve you champagne at brunch.
Yeah, my kindergarten will.
You better modify that.
Modify that right now. Maybe you could do like brunch for freshmen in college.
They're still not of age.
That's kind of like, but still kindergarten for college.
Anywho.
I'm drinking about making decisions.
What's that?
because I can't make any.
So you're drinking a lot today. Or these days.
Yeah, I just can't look, friends. I can't make decisions. Look, I've come to the decision I'm not having a wedding.
Yes.
But I can't even choose a date to get married because I know I'm going to have a ceremony, and but I still can't choose a date. I don't know. I know that I need a new car soon. Because my car is going to give out soon, and so I know I need to trade it in soon while I can still get value from my car before it just totally goes kaput. But I can't. I'm I don't know. I don't want a car payment yet, but I need to do that soon. But I can't make that decision yet. I don't know. So I'm just drinking to the fact that I can't make decisions. But I'll make them eventually, hopefully sooner rather than later.
I feel like we just need to toast to you for adulting so hard right now.
Yeah.
You've got all the life choices,
Or
let me trade in the car, let me pick a wedding date, let me make all the decisions of life right now.
I'm trying to look for a new job, trying to make that decision. So I'm just trying to make all the decisions right now.
Okay.
But those are my two main decisions, a car and a wedding date. And the wedding date probably sooner rather than later because of insurance purposes. So
that does make a difference. It can.
I mean, hashtag adulting.
So I'm hashtag adulting right now, and so I'm drinking about it. Yeah.
But yeah, adulting.
Adulting.
It sucks. Stay in high school and college forever, people.
Don't ever get out.
That's what we're drinking about today.
That's what we're drinking about. So stay in kindergarten.
Stay in kindergarten.
Stay in kindergarten forever is what we're saying.
Yes. And then join a cult and go on a cruise.
And then join a cult and go on a cruise.
For meditation and yoga.
Preferably the one called the Champagne Way.
Yes, the Champagne Way cult, because we would like you to pay for our next cruise.
Please and thank you.
So, if you'd like to submit your drink about it moment to us, please reach out to us at thechampagneway.com or send us a message on Instagram at thechampagneway or on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you and hear about all your drink about it moments, and if you've ever joined a cult, and
How you got out of it.
Yeah, please tell us about that too.
If you have a champagne shout out to your cult leader, all of those things.
Yeah.
We would love to hear about all of those things.
Yeah.
So
Tree.
reach out to us about all of that.
If you've ever brushed by a cult leader while you're on a cruise or while you've just been going in a public space, we want to hear about that too.
Want to hear about all your cultness. Also coming soon, the cult podcast.
Yeah. So, Lindsay, what's going on with champagne trivia?
It's champagne trivia. Champagne trivia. All right, everyone. The question from last week was, who created champagne?
I think, didn't I say a monk?
Yes, you did.
I don't remember who I said, but clearly someone worth praising, like a cult leader.
So, Jess, you were right. It was a monk.
Yay!
But what was the monk's name?
Oh,
You know him.
Wait, we know him? Was it Ravi Shankar? Or Sri Ravi Shankar?
that's not a monk. Wait,
No, not a monk. That's
wait,
right. Not
do
godly.
I get a hint?
He's a monk that created champagne.
Is his name
Champagne?
Champagne?
No.
Well, he's clearly, maybe I know some Italian monks, but I don't know if I know any French monks.
You know this one.
A French monk?
Yeah.
What's his name start with?
D. It starts with Dom.
Dom Perignon!
Yeah.
Oh my God!
He was a monk?
Yeah.
No.
Wait, what?
Yes.
What do I win? What do I win?
You win a sip of champagne.
Oh my God, let me take it right now.
Yeah.
Wait, is it the bad champagne? Because that's the losing.
No, yeah. Here, I'll give you my ring.
I win a ring. I win a champagne ring.
It's bigger than your engagement ring.
Oh my God. I feel so special.
It's made out of, what is it made out of?
Champagne cork.
No, it's beautiful. I love it.
Oh my God. I won a champagne trivia question.
Yeah, you did.
It was so special.
Congrats.
So there's a new question.
Okay.
What's the new one?
Okay, so you know the champagne glasses when you do a champagne cocktail, the coupe glasses?
Yes.
How did they come up with that design?
Literally no idea. So you're talking about like not like the champagne flutes, but like the champagne, like the bowl like ones.
Yeah, the coupe.
The coupe glasses. So you could drink more faster?
I mean, not necessarily why they came up,
But
how
they came up with
yeah,
it.
like why is that glass shaped like it is? And
I feel like by accident, like while the glass shape, I assume glass blower or something, that they were making it, they like dropped it and like made this cool shape and they were like, cool, the happy accidents.
That's a good answer.
I don't know. That's my guess.
hashtag Bob Ross. You're like, happy accident.
Happy accidents.
So Trina's answer is Bob Ross.
The Bob Ross
The
of champagne
Ross-
glasses.
The Bob Ross of champagne glasses. I'm going to say that they just poured some in the flute and they said, nope, we don't like this. And they just, I don't know, they just decided to do the other way.
How about this question?
Okay.
What is the design from?
What's the design named again? Coupe? Coupe. Is it like a chicken coop?
Yes.
That's the only thing I know that's like a coupe or a car. That's a coupe de ville.
I'm going to say it's after a king
Okay.
because I don't know anything else.
This is like a crown.
Yeah, sure.
I want a crown with champagne
It's
glasses
after
on
a
it.
king.
Yeah. All right. What's your answer? You can answer on our website, www.thechampagneway.com, Instagram @thechampagneway.com, or our Facebook page. We would love to know what you think.
So, what we may or may not talk about on the next episode of The Champagne Way. Did Lindsay ever get her penguin from me and Marcia?
Yeah, where's my fork and penguin?
We're not there yet. It's on the next episode, maybe. Also,
Or a moose. Where's the moose?
the moose.
That penguin's going to die. You don't know how to adequately take care of a penguin.
Did Bob Ross actually create the coupe champagne glasses? And the Champagne Cult Cruise of 2019. Where are we going, guys? Where are we going? Submit your responses today because we're planning this.
Yeah.
We're planning this. It's happening.
Planning it.
Probably a volcano.
Champagne
Will you
Cold
throw
Cruise?
yourself in?
Champagne Cult Cruise 2019.
Will you drink the Kool-Aid?
The champagne Kool-Aid, and into the volcano you will go.
The champagne cocktail.
Champagne cocktail Kool-Aid. This is our cult. We are the leaders. Follow us at The Champagne Way and at thechampagneway.com.
A special thank you, guys, to Marshmallow with the Second Son Productions. And our guest speaker, Patrick, who did not invite Lindsay to the Patrick party. But that's okay, because she is now a cult leader and he will pay dearly.